Hey everyone, this is Kevin from Kevin's Microfleet. Today we're going to be doing another Micro Galaxy Squadron review. We're taking a look at the Light Armor Class Series 5 Resistance A-Wing. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the vehicle, at the figure, at the packaging. We'll do some measurements and we'll do a comparison. Let's go ahead and dive into the review. So let's go ahead and start out here with the packaging. So here is what this thing looks like in the box. Down here on the bottom, we've got the Resistance A-Wing. It's number 102. You've got the pilot inside of his own little blister pack there. And then we've got the vehicle itself. As we turn this thing around to the back, you get a chance to see these are the two features that this vehicle has, which is it has an opening cockpit as well as a landing gear that pops out. You get the other vehicles that are in this specific class. And then if we turn this thing around to see the bottom, there is the UPC if you want it. All the UPCs for the light armor class are all the same. So if you have one, you have them all. So that is that. Once you take this thing out of the box and you look at the card back, here is what the card backing looks like. It's got a Millennium Falcon from The Force Awakens. You see this one other A-Wing back here that's in the background that has this different design. We've seen this now on a handful of different A-Wings. And there is actually one that's up here that is a different color as well. I just noticed that. So that one has just like red on the side. So we could potentially be seeing two other versions of the A-Wing come out with this same mold and just a different colors. And then you've got a bunch of other First Order TIE Fighters and Special Forces TIE Fighters. Once you then take it out of the box, on the underside is this little display piece. This doesn't really have anything on it. It's just a scene from somewhere in space. You get to the TIE Fighter and a planet. That's basically it. So let's go ahead and take a look first at the figure. So the figure with this, as they did with the A-Wing pilot for the Return of the Jedi version, the pilot looks really good. Now, there was a point in time where they were talking about this being a female character. You can kind of see by the mold of the face and the body that this is not the female character. This is just the male pilot. But they did a great job with the paint application. There's a bunch of different colors on there. It's pretty amazing that they're able to get that paint inside some of those tiny little areas to be able to paint this guy. But it looks really good. Now, if we look at the measurements of this figure, he is 1 inch tall, as we with all of the other ones. So now let's go ahead and look at the actual A-Wing. There's not a whole lot to this specific vehicle in terms of the features to it. The guns here are stationary on the side. You again get this opening cockpit, but I do really like this color scheme. So in this series, in Series 5, we're getting lots of different color. So we've got this one that has the green, you've got the Mace Windu Jedi Interceptor that's purple, you get Poe's X-Wing, which is orange, and I really like the color palette that they went with. So it's got some other little details on here. This is what it looks like on the underside. There is your landing gear. My only small gripe with this landing gear is there's not like a little notch to be able to stick your fingernail in to pop it open. So it really is kind of like a tension type of thing. You just have to push on it until it pops out. That guy snaps in. Here's what the back looks like. A little bit of paint detail on there, but they didn't do any of the glow there inside of the actual engine. And then again, you get some detail on the side. Now, one of the biggest issues we ran into with this specific mold of the A-Wing, especially with the Return of the Jedi version, is that the pilot did not fit in the cockpit very well. So when you went to pop him in there, you ultimately had to get it to hold down by tension. So that was the first thing I was concerned about with this, and I was really excited to test to be able to see, does this actually work okay? And when I put the pilot in there, I was like, oh no, it sits too high again. But once you clip the top down, that sits perfect. So the pilot fits in there with no problems. Now, this is the only one that I've tested. I do have another one that I plan to open as well, and I'll be checking that one out to see whether or not that has that problem. So here is the Return of the Jedi version. Obviously, this is a Resistance A-Wing. We've had this mold now for the entire time that we've had this line. Really hope that they go back to the actual Return of the Jedi A-Wing. I don't even remember what this is called, but this version over here, which what the Action Fleet did. I think that one looks really cool and would look awesome inside of this, this specific size. So there is that, and then you also have the two other versions here. There's Hera's A-Wing, and then there's also, this is the storyboard series from San Diego Comic-Con. So I figured I wanted to show those as well. Now, if we look at this from a measurement perspective, because it's the exact same mold, it is going to be the exact same size. It is 4 inches front to back. Side to side, it is 2.5-ish, almost 2.5. Maybe just a little less than that. And then from this side view, it's about 1 inch and 1/8. So a very small vehicle and very small package. I do really like this size. I think the size works perfect for the A-Wing. It's what it's supposed to be. It's really small and really fast. So now if we go ahead and take a look at this relative to the Action Fleet A-Wing, you can see the Action Fleet A-Wing really was not made to scale relative to the figure. So you can see the figure inside there. I mean, it kind of like floats around inside. And so they didn't really scale any of the Action Fleet vehicles relative to one another. They just went ahead and used the mold and they made it a certain size. So you can obviously see there's a huge difference in the size. The Action Fleet version of the A-Wing is much, much bigger. And even though it should be much smaller. But with the Action Fleet one, you do get the cockpit that opens, you get these landing gear, and then these guns here on the side do rotate. So let's go ahead and show this A-Wing relative to some of the other Micro Galaxy vehicles. That way you get a chance to see what it looks like compared to those. So here is the A-Wing now compared to some of the other sequel trilogy vehicles that we have currently. So here it is relative to Poe Dameron's T-70. This is the new Series 5 orange version, so you can see what the size looks like. And I would say that scaling looks okay, I think. If you're really concerned about scale and you want to know what everything is, you can check out my friend Jonathan's page, rebelscale.com. He has all of the scaling of the vehicles, and you'll be able to check that out. But there is what those look like. And then now if you look at the A-Wing compared to the First Order or Special Forces TIE Fighter, you can see now how that looks. So definitely the Special Forces TIE Fighter is bigger. I don't know if we ever really see these two fighting it out at all, but I can't remember, but that is what that looks like. So that is all I've got here for this review. I want to thank everybody for hanging with me this long. I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Please go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next review.